Hey everybody, welcome to Eagles Game Plan presented by Toyota. I am John Clark along with Ike Reese and Mike Quick.
He's
and
back.
The Birds, yeah, I am back. Good to see you guys.
And
the Eagles have a chance to match the best start in all of team history, 13-1 by Ike Reese's crew back in 2004. They're in Chicago, but my goodness, they are 12-1 and they just keep rolling. What did you see against the Giants?
Listen, we'll get into that offense and what they're doing on that side of the football, but I have to start with the defensive side of the football, and it was the defensive line. They set the tone as they have so many times this year. They lead the league in total sacks. You look at that first drive where Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick let you know what type of day it was going to be. That defensive line, I think 6 total sacks on the day, countless other pressures and quarterback hits on Daniel Jones. Man, everything starts up front in the trenches, and it starts with that defensive line.
Well, the offensive line, the same. It starts in the trenches. They started the game throwing the ball quite a bit, but in that second half, they really laid in on the run game, and the perimeter run in particular. When you see those plays over and over and over again, you know it's going to be a good day because they really create a lot of space for the run game. Run game was really effective in the second half.
Yeah, over 250 yards against the Giants, and this offense now is the highest scoring offense in the league. They're averaging 41 points a game over the last 3. That is their best 3-game stretch offensively in 72 years. So let's get an offensive breakdown. Here's a little tape study with our own Fran Duffy. Here is running backs coach Jamal Singleton. This is presented by Chickies and Pete's.
Well, pleased to be joined this week on Tape Study, presented by Chickies and Pete's, by Eagles running backs coach Jamal Singleton. And coach, career day for Miles Sanders last week against the New York Giants, 144 yards rushing, 8.5 yards per carry. What can you say about number 26 and what he did last week against the Giants?
Well, one thing is I'm starting to realize that if I get invited down here, my guys have played pretty well. So this is a good part, but awesome day for Miles, just how he performed. And there's gonna be some things that we're gonna look at that maybe you didn't see, maybe you didn't know about because he didn't have the ball in his hands. But what he does without the ball in his hands was just as good as what he did with it.
No question. And there's a lot of that we're going to dive into here in this segment. We'll start off with his longest run of the day, touchdown here in the fourth quarter, a play that you guys ran a bunch of times here in this football game.
Absolutely. It's one of those things, it kept working. So we kept calling it and kept doing it. And it's a really good play for us. Great job by Miles. Great job by our line. You're looking at some of the things that we can do with those guys that we have. You see really with Landon starting right here. And I really want to focus a little bit on what our tight ends are doing, right? We got 2 young guys just playing, second-year guy, first-year guy, coming through there and doing some awesome things. And as you look at it, you can see Jack here climbing up to get his hat on there. What Grant does is unbelievable as well. All right, when you look and see him he's got to read this kind of like a runner. So he's reading Landon's block. There's not a whole lot of space there. And for him to just get through that crease, and now we talk about Miles being in that position that he has to be in, on his inside hip, being able to read that counter. And Grant just gets enough of that block right there as we skimmy through this little small tight gap. And now Miles is off to the races. So I'm glad he didn't get caught because there would have been a lot of people talking trash about his speed there. So great job, great finish for him. You look across his tape and even on the backside, I think some of the things that you missed, look at Zach Pascal on the backside. People don't know how important that block is for these long runs, right? Big explosive runs don't happen unless you got backside blocking and receivers blocking down the field. So you look at just an encompassing look of 11 players playing together as a unit and some guys doing some pretty special things. Made this play really good.
So a lot of similarities between that play and this one here that we're going to see. It's just a different ball carrier. And as you mentioned earlier, Miles, it's not just about when he has the football, some of the things he does without it, just as impressive.
So, okay, my favorite play of the game. No ifs, ands, buts about it. My favorite play of the game, more so because of what we kind of talked about leading up to it. I mean, there's some video out there of Miles talking about doing the Bobby Boucher. We talked about that all week, and he talked about quotes that he was going to use, and he was going to make the noise and do all this thing. I was like, okay, let's see it happen. Well, we run this play. It unfolds slightly different than kind of what we had anticipated with the pressure that they brought. But Miles ends up blocking a defensive lineman. This is not a small guy, right? This is a big physical guy that's coming through there. And as you see here, he's lead blocking for the quarterback. He's basically in fullback mode right now. And for him, just with this hit, and just he drives his legs, knocks the guy back, keeps running him, and keeps him off our quarterback. Quarterback, again, those same things we just talked about of being in phase with that second puller, where Miles in this case is the second puller. He's right on his inside hip. So just a great job by Jalen as well, being in that position and hitting that crease. But you watch Miles here just unload. He makes the noise. And this, I think right here, if you pause it right here, he is getting so excited about this play. It's so awesome. And you might, if you ever catch something, there might be a shorter running back coach standing on the sideline getting just as crazy with them, because it's awesome. And that's the part of, I'll tell those guys, I'm starting to rub off on you guys because you're starting to get excited about blocking just as much as you are about running the ball. So, man, that's team first. That is truly team first. Guys got act like he had over 100 yards rushing, did all this stuff, touchdowns, but he got more hyped up about this than the touchdowns that he had. And that's what you want to see as a coach, that it's about the team first.
Eagles Game Plan is brought to you by your local Tri-State Toyota dealers, proud automotive partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. NovaCare Rehabilitation, the power of physical therapy. Pepsi, Eagles watching, better with Pepsi. PA Lottery, there's a lot of love for the PA Lottery, and when you see how fun it is, you'll understand why.
Lock in, baby. Lock in, lock in, lock in, lock in. Hey, you're not looking. I made you miss. I made you miss. I made you miss. Hey, I got 1,000 yards. Thank you for believing me, coach. Love you, bro. Thank you, man. Can I talk to the superstar?
You the superstar, 1,000-yard rusher. 1,000-yard rusher.
You feel good, huh? Yeah, I do. I feel good.
But I'm like that too. Don't say no changes, man.
That is the 1,000-yard rusher, Miles Sanders there. And the Eagles in the second half alone rushed 3 touchdowns, close to 200 yards. That's just in the second half. Mike, anytime they want to run the ball, they dominate in the running game.
We know that the winning formula for scoring points early in the National Football League is throwing the football. But this team can really dominate in the run game, and they show that Miles Sanders is playing such great football, the best. You mentioned the 1,000-yard rushing season, his very first, but he's playing at a different level. He's with intention. He's breaking tackles. He's running over people. He's jumping around people. He's outrunning people to the end zone. Miles is on a different level this year, and it's fun to see, but it really begins with that offensive line and their ability to really dominate and take over games at the line of scrimmage.
And Jalen Hurts now has the best quarterback rating in all of the NFL, and from the pocket, he has the best completion percentage, 74%, the best in the NFL since Drew Brees. So let's get a little self-scouting here from Greg Cosell. This is presented by Golden Nugget Jewelers.
The Eagles have played 13 games. They're 12-1. And there is absolutely no question that Jalen Hurts is playing high-level quarterback right now. Hurts has been a fascinating study basically since he came into the league. You have to remember, he came into the league as a quarterback that not a lot of people thought was a high-level passer. And the development has been stunning and so much fun to watch. Now, in this league, at some point in time, you have to be a drop-back quarterback and make throws from the pocket. And Jalen Hurts, over the course of this season, has really shown that he can do that. And we're talking about some difficult throws, some timing throws. But the play that I really want to show you, because there's a pre-snap phase to this and there's a post-snap phase to this. Now, this is an empty set that the Eagles are in from last week's game. And you're going to see Devonta Smith in the slot to the boundary and A.J. Brown outside of him. Now you're going to see here that Jalen Hurts sees something in the coverage, which by the way is going to be cover one, man-to-man coverage with a single high safety. He decides that he can get the slot fade thrown to Devonta Smith, who as I said is in the slot to the boundary. And normally what you get when you want to throw a slot fade to the short side of the field is the outside receiver will run a short hitch to make sure that the corner covering him can sink and be a factor on the fade. So he sees all this, and what does he do? He throws the slot fade. And this is an absolutely beautiful throw. You could not drop it in the bucket any better than this. He beats the deep safety Julian Love coming over to try to make a play, and he also takes a shot right after he delivers the football. And you know what? When you play quarterback and there's inside pressure, you feel it. Even though you don't see it, you feel it, you know it's coming. And what I love, the deep ball. This team attacks vertically, and Jalen Hurts has become one of the better deep ball throwers in the National Football League.
All right, Jalen Hurts. I mean, when you watch the NFL now, he may have the prettiest deep ball in the NFL at this point. I mean, the amount of deep ball touchdowns lately. What are you seeing from Jalen Hurts? Not just the deep ball throws, but some of those key third down throws as well.
Yeah, you guys are talking about the deep ball. I'm talking about the ones that keep the chains moving. Third downs. They were perfect in the first half, converting on third downs. And part of the reason was the fact that Jalen is so sharp in the short to intermediate passing game right now. And if you watch this play, he's got a stack formation, two receivers stacked to the left side. When they start to attack the defense, you see them spread, and it's a one-on-one. He knows he's got one-on-one, but watch in the middle of this defense. You're gonna get stunts. You're gonna get that outside looper coming through the A-gap untouched. Now, he knows that he's got a free runner. He's got to get the football out. Quez runs a great route on the outside, puts pressure on that cornerback, runs that little speed cut, and watch Jalen just drop it in there on a dime and picking up the first down on the third and 3 situation. But you're seeing that more and more. Dropping back, and you mentioned it earlier, drop back passing, he's over 70%. He's excellent now working from the pocket, and many times you're going to have to work the pocket. It's not just the RPOs. He's showing that he can do it all from the quarterback position.
Real quick, couple of the keys to victory. All right, one was offense, take care of the football. Awesome job doing that. Defensively, a big key was keeping this guy in the pocket with disciplined rush lanes. The way we were covering in the secondary, and then defensive line of how you rushed, that was awesome. Great job, guys. Special teams, this first one says, first one of our kickoffs past the 25-yard line. We got that, Boston. Good job, buddy. Miles went over 1,000. AJ went over 1,000. BG, 3 sacks for BG.
Yeah, how about Brandon Graham? He matches his career high with 3 sacks, 29 snaps. So they're lessening his workload a little bit with the depth on the defensive line. How is that helping him and the other guys stay fresh?
I think it's been big time for him, as well as Fletcher Cox. You're talking about 2 guys that are a little bit older. They brought in a couple of older guys, but it benefits all of those guys together. They're going to be more effective with those lesser snaps. And you think about Brandon Graham coming off a torn Achilles, man. Brandon is one of all of our favorite players to ever wear the midnight green. And Sunday, he reminded us. Let's take a look at him here. You know, this will be the 2nd sack of his 3 on the day. Now, we've watched Brandon his entire career, and I've always felt his best pass rush move is to surprise offensive tackles with his power by butting them and getting under their pads. Well, he used that a few times earlier. You watch him here against Andrew Thomas, the former first-round draft pick of the New York Giants. He's going to switch it up. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Watch Brandon get off the ball here. Does a great job. He has Thomas set up thinking he's going to headbutt him, but what he does with his hands is this new technique, they call it the Superman swipe, where he's able to jump through there, both arms knocks down the offensive tackle's hands. Brandon's able to get around the corner. He can still bend the corner. He's able to get to Tyrod Taylor, get the sack on him, and get the ball knocked out. Brandon Graham had a turn back the clock type of a day against the Giants last week, and it was great to see. Like I said, one of our favorite players. It's great to see Brandon have success out there, especially coming back off the injury he had last year.
And that rotation is going to keep everybody fresh because they may be doing a lot of running against the Bears and Justin Fields, the best running quarterback in the NFL this year. So let's get a little enemy intel with Greg Cosell, presented by Golden Nugget Jewelers.
The Eagles defense this week will be up for a fascinating challenge. They are playing Justin Fields. Say what you want about Justin Fields. He's been up and down this season in his second year as the Bears starting quarterback coming out of Ohio State. But there is not, as we speak right now, a more explosive, dynamic runner at the quarterback position in the National Football League. And Fields on any play, whether it's by design, whether it's off a second reaction scramble, he can go 40, 50, 60 yards for a touchdown. He can just shred your defense with speed. And there was a play the last time the Bears played 2 weeks ago that really shows the speed he brings to the table and the fact that he can take it to the house on any given play. But what does Fields see as he holds the mesh and fakes the handoff? He sees a blitzer coming right at him. And Fields knows he's a great athlete. So instead of throwing the football, he's going to beat that blitzer running the football. And he breaks inside of him. And now look at the speed. Look at him turn on the jets, and he just runs through the defense for a long touchdown. This is what the Eagles have to contend with this week. And it's not easy, because he can do this by design. He can do this scrambling. And quite frankly, when you watch his tape over the last 3-4 weeks, he's getting incrementally better as a passer from the pocket within the structure and design of the pass game. So he poses a threat, and he's a weapon on every single play. So I'm pretty excited to see this game, and the Eagles defense, they face a pretty interesting challenge with Justin Fields.
All right, Justin Fields. This is going to be a challenge. The most dynamic running quarterback in the NFL. Averages 75 rushing yards a game. That's more than Dalvin Cook averages. How hard is it going to be for the Eagles defense to stay disciplined, but also contain him?
Well, I mean, listen, he's a very dynamic player, especially at the quarterback position. But here's the thing that I'll say. When the Eagles have had to stop a number one offensive option for a team, they've been able to do that.
He's like, we got this. I love his
That's what they do.
We got this.
Well, listen, they've earned the benefit of the doubt, and because they've gone out and done it. And this offense will be similar to what they faced last week with the New York Giants. When you're thinking about Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, this Bears offense is pretty much Justin Fields and David Montgomery right now. But Justin Fields is a totally different runner than what Daniel Jones is as a runner. When this kid gets in the open field, you're talking about wide receiver, running back type of speed and elusiveness. So they're going to have to be able to get population to the football, right? He's not a guy that you can bring down one-on-one in the open field. You're going to need to get as many guys to the ball as possible. And I'll also say this, when he's back there extending plays, he's more of a threat because he has the arm strength to throw the ball down the field 60, 70 yards, but he also has the ability to run. So I would think being disciplined in your coverage and your responsibility, when he starts to move around, don't leave your coverage just yet. Wait till he crosses that line of scrimmage, then you converge on him.
Welcome back, everybody, to Eagles Game Plan presented by Toyota. The Bears have lost 6 in a row, 9 of 10. Their defense has been giving up over 33 points a game in that 6-game losing streak. This Eagles team, though, has been focused every game.
And they need to remain focused. This Chicago Bears team reminds me of a team that I was on in 1999, Donovan's rookie year. We started to play better late in the year, surprised a couple of teams with victories late in the year that may have been overlooking us. So that's where the Eagles have to come into this game, just like they did last week, prepared and focused. These are like faceless opponents. You play to your own standards. That's what the Eagles need to continue to do. The Bears will be gamed. I believe so. You know, this is the time of year where teams are trying to make a name for themselves. So the Eagles just need to make sure they go out and take care of business.
Like the Bears are going to try and spoil the party.
Yeah.
The Eagles are enjoying what they've done, and they should enjoy it. But you're right. They have to stay focused because the Bears are a young team. They're a hungry team, and they're going to throw out their best stuff against the Eagles. They've had a week, the bye week, to try and prepare and look at what they've been doing and try and attack this Eagles bunch, try and break down the things that they do well. The Eagles really have to be focused against this young, hungry group of Bears.
And hey, the Eagles are always prepared on the road. They're the only undefeated team on the road this year. In fact, 12-3 under Nick Sirianni on the road. Best road record in the NFL since Nick took over. So enjoy Eagles Bears. He's Ike Reese. He's Mike Quick. I'm John Clark. Thanks for watching Eagles Game Plan, presented by Toyota. Eagles Game Plan is brought to you by your local tri-state Toyota dealers. proud automotive partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. NovaCare Rehabilitation, the power of physical therapy. Pepsi, Eagles watching, better with Pepsi. PA Lottery, there's a lot of love for the PA Lottery, and when you see how fun it is, you'll understand why.